everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball, and we are going to talk about Jenelle today. So welcome to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. I didn't really even want to do this stream, I'm not gonna lie. I have been sitting on some information since November about her and her husband David, and I've known a lot more than I've let on about what was going on and what she told me, and I don't talk with her at all anymore. And due to the fact that I was trying to respect, what she was going through and all of that, I didn't disclose any of it. A lot of people said, "Oh, you don't have any sources." I definitely had sources. I was directly speaking with Jenelle for several weeks in November of 2019, and it followed her leaving her husband David. And she had filed for a TRO, and she had claimed all of these different incidences on her, on the TRO about what happened between her and David, and really said that she was fearful for both herself and her children. And so people have been, obviously there's been all this speculation. Is she going to come back to Teen Mom? Is she going to be back on reality TV? Did she do this just to get back with Dave, or just did she split with him in October just so she could get back on MTV? And now that MTV hasn't taken her back, is she going to go back to David? Was it all a ruse? I don't know any of that. When I spoke to her, this all seemed the split seemed extremely genuine. It didn't seem as though there was any ulterior motives. It was just more like she had been fed up and she was ready to go. And she even told me what her final straw was. So when I saw some photos, and now the TMZ is reporting, along with, I believe, the Ashley, who have spoken to sources connected to her, they've reported that, Jenelle and David are basically back together. She's on Instagram. She's been wearing her wedding ring. And I was like, Janelle will do anything to stay relevant, and a lot of times in that world, the more that you can get people to talk, the better you stay relevant in the press. And I realized by even talking about this, I'm making it stay relevant. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to say something because I care about these kids and I don't like what I learned, and I'm just going to share it. So she's posting photos, and these are videos. I just took screens of them back at the land. TMZ says that she's been back there, back and forth. She and David have been back together for about a month. They're taking things slow. Their time apart was exactly what they need. The divorce is completely off because of they're basically living back together in the state of North Carolina. In order for you to actually have your divorce go through, you have to be separated for, a year and living apart for a year. And so if they're staying together again, they can't get divorced. And so she's basically decided they're back together. She was in an interview for a podcast the other day wearing her wedding ring. She was doing an advertisement for a hair blower, a hair dryer, comb brush out blower thing. And that got pulled by the company when they told them to Google Jenelle and what she had done. She says that she dropped the company after she decided not to put the advertisement up, which is such a lie. Like, why would you even lie about that? You know that the company pulled your thing. You didn't pull. If you're going to make money, you're not going to pull an ad off your Instagram. That's just lie number one right there. So I was getting all these messages on Instagram like, "Oh, Katie, what's going on with Jenelle?" Well, TMZ now says that they're back together. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to sit on this information anymore, and I'm just going to share it. And so back in November, Jenelle actually reached out to me because I had run a story, something to do with some photos of Kaiser and Ensley that I'd done a video about. And she had said that I might have gotten the dates wrong. And she just said, please clarify this. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we started chatting. And over a couple weeks, I cleared everything up. I posted I think I posted a correction. I don't even remember what completely happened with that part. But she actually had called me out publicly on Twitter, which I did a video about. I don't remember where it is, but it's probably in my archives. Through the course of several weeks, she started telling me some information about her relationship. And because there's people that literally don't believe that she actually talked to me, I'm just going to show you straight from the DMs. So this is my Twitter account. And I want to show you that this is a live Twitter account. That's my Katie Joy account. Okay? And so this is her. So you can see that it's real. It's her confirmed account. I haven't manipulated any of this. This is directly from my Twitter up here. So there's no question that this is who this is. This is her confirmed account as well. If I click on it, it'll go directly to her. I'm blocked by her. Okay? You can see that. And I've said she blocked me because somebody sent her some screenshots of things that they said I said, but what they were turned out to be fake. And I've talked about that. So here's what she said. So she said, I don't actually talk to anyone right now because we were talking about some reports that have been in the media. There was some confusion about something to do with David. I can't remember what it was. And she said, I don't really talk to anyone right now. Actually, I'm not even the media or magazine. I haven't spoken to anyone. And then she said, well, I'll tell you some shit that's about to go down soon after my MRI appointment on my collarbone next week. And I said, he broke it, didn't he? And she said, no, it's not broken. The SC joint is popped out, only attached by bone from ligaments, and it might not even ever go back. So you can Google SC joint dislocation. And I said, so did he do that last year? And she said, yes, October 2018. And I said, when you were screaming on the 911 call? And she said, yes. And I said, oh my God, that call was so terrible. And she said, and it's still bad now, so I have to get an MRI and might have to have surgery for screws. And I said, oh my God. And she said, yes, I'm effing livid. And I said, how many times was he physical like that? I don't know. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be even able to take care of my kids if I have to have surgery. 2 to 3 times, she said, since beginning together in 2015 through 2019. And I said, how did that happen? Did he push you? I'm sorry. And she said, he was way more angry a lot and screamed in my face and put me down in front of the kids. I honestly don't remember how it happened still. My therapist thinks I purposely blocked it out. I don't remember any of the instances until I went through my phone, pictures, and video memories. Wow. And I'm like, oh my God, all this happened and I don't even remember. Which she says that, like, she blocked out from the trauma, apparently. And she said, yeah, and I would stay silent and I just keep getting yelled at. I have videos of that too. And then she told me she was getting, so I was like, did he do this to kids? She never really asked, anyways, so there's that. And then I'll show you. And then she claimed that she was getting all of these block calls, all this stuff from like 10 calls with Eminem and all this crap. So later I just put this in screenshots because it's easier. Because they're in 2 separate parts and not the whole conversation isn't necessary for you guys to see. And she said, don't say anything now. And I just want to prove to you, like, I knew some of the stuff I was sharing earlier on about how, remember that article where David said that the house had been ransacked? She said, don't say anything now, but since David is back here, I had my friends go get a lot of my electronics and TV and important things in my house at night. And I said, oh, that's great. David has no idea and is going home to no internet, TV, computer, and I took the kids' toy boxes. And I said, oh, Kaiser will be so happy. Because she had told me that Kaiser and Ensley had left the house. They didn't have any clothes. They didn't have any of their toys. And that Kaiser was missing having all of his toys. He was doing well, but the biggest thing was he missed having his toys. And she says, when he gets home and he realizes it, I don't know if you want to report on that, but please let him get home first. And I said, of course. Did they grab clothes for you? Because she told me she didn't have any clothes. And I said, I have a genuine question. How do you deal with these attacks? These people are so mean to you. And I said, my mom is going to go grab my clothes and I ignore everyone and everything. And I'm so busy with the kids that I don't have time to look at much. But when it gets to me, I cry and I cry and I cry. And it's usually because of someone close to me selling me out or effing me over. And so I asked her, like, what was the final straw? And she said, him putting me down, my parenting, name calling me 24/7. I paid for everything. I wanted him to get a real job and he wouldn't help me inside the house. And when it came to cleaning or keeping up with laundry, or then I would do everything else but his. He treated me like a slave in front of the kids, in front of his friends, and even his friends were like, that's not cool, bro. I felt like I was being used for sex, to clean and to cook, and I wasn't a real person to him. I was just there, if you get what I mean. Like, he truly hated me, and I feel like he just wanted me to help him out because I'm like all he had in an abusing way. And I said, I understand that. Only wanted to be with me because I remained popular, I feel like. So basically saying that he was using her for fame and the money that she came with. And I said, I can see that too. And was using me toward the end. I don't know. I'm confused in my own thoughts when it comes to him. And I said, well, I asked her, like, why doesn't he get a job? He claims that if you look for a job, no one would ever hire me because of what's in the media. There were always excuses. So there were so many different conversations I had, like, with her. And so, as I sort of have been watching this all fall out, I was like, well, what the hell? This is ridiculous. So, according to her, her SC joint is dislocated, and her fix. Now, I never talked to her about the MRI because our relationship suddenly was cut off because some people sent some screenshots to her that I never wrote. But you guys all know what happened with my other screenshots that were fake. If you don't, you can see a video about it somewhere on my channel. But I want to show you what I just pulled up here about the SC joints, so that you can actually see. So this is directly from Ortho Info. And it says that it's the joint disorder. It's where one of the four joints, excuse me. It says where one of the four joints it's one of the four joints that complete the shoulder. The joint is located in the spot where the clavicle meets the sternum, breastbone, and the base of the neck, although no common problems. Injuries to the SC joint typically result from motor vehicle accidents or participation in collision sports like football. While these injuries may be painful, most are relatively minor and will heal without surgery. Very rarely, a hard blow to the SC joint can damage the vital organs and tissue that live nearby. The SC joint can also be damaged over time as a protective tissue covers the ends with the bones, gradually wears away. So it's this bone, it's where your sternum, it's like right where your collarbone meets your sternum. So right here, she says it's like hanging on by a thread. So it has to be incredibly painful. And if you remember, shortly after it, she did a YouTube video where she had her hair sort of draped over her shoulder, and people were saying that something had happened to her collarbone, and now she basically confirmed that. And it's like, if she was so concerned then, and now she's back to living with him, the kids are back there with her. She said she had tons of videos and tons of photos of all the crap that he had done to her and to her kids, that he was particularly not nice to Kaiser. It's like frustrating because you want to believe the best in someone. And I realize that there is a cycle, but at the same time, it's like so many people have protected this information. People know about what happened and no one has said anything. People know that he has done these things and no one has said anything. And she repeatedly denies it. And now it's like reported by TMZ, well, they both have been in therapy and everything's better and it's all going to change. Well, this is the honeymoon phase again, where they're building up and everything's going to be great and he's going to put on his best face. But at the end of the day, he's going to be back to exactly who he was. And why? For what? So that her family can be complete? Absolutely none of this makes sense to me. I don't understand it, and I'll never understand it. And if she wants to bring her kids back to that, I'm really disappointed in her. I thought that she wanted to change. I thought she wanted differently. And I understand that she's grown up in a very chaotic home, but at some point you have to become an adult. And even if you grew up in a chaotic home, when you become an adult, you can't let the choices or the circumstances of your childhood impact your day-to-day choices of your life. And she wanted differently for her kids, yet she's putting her kids right back in the same situation she promised. She said she wasn't going to do. She's repeatedly said on Instagram, YouTube, and every single place she's not going to do. And that's exactly where her kids are. So now you have it from my mouth to you, from her mouth to me, what she told me. You can do whatever you want with it and decide if you believe it or not. But at this point, I would say you should be concerned for her. You should be concerned for the kids. You should be, if everything that she is saying is true. Obviously, I did not get David's side, but we do know that there was a documented call in October 2018. There's tons of media articles about it. There's documented stuff about all kinds of interactions with them. Dozens and dozens and dozens of calls to authorities from that home in the course of a year. And now you're going to go back. So I just can't sit on that information. I can't sit on that information knowing she's taking her children back into that situation. And if that makes me an a-hole in my world, I don't care. but I care more about kids than I care about a relationship with another person. And in this case, clearly the mother is not putting the interests of the child in the best of, like, first. It's her codependence and her inability to be alone that comes first. And that's not okay in my book. So you guys can tell me what your thoughts are. Comments will be held for review for obviously reasons of sensitivity, but I will be back later with more. Bye, guys.